Hey everyone, Kyle once again, and welcome back to another movie review. And for the next movie review I'm going to be doing is another a film, which is a Nickelodeon movie. Now, there's Nickelodeon films that I liked, of course, the SpongeBob movies, of course. Also enjoying the Rugrats movies as well, growing up. The Last Airbender, which completely sucked. I still haven't seen Steven Spielberg's The Adventures of Tintin. Still haven't seen that film yet, though. Of course, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles reboot, of course, also sucked as well, and I have no interest in seeing the sequel, Out of the Shadows, I think it was called. But for this this next Nickelodeon film, that thing I actually do like, and I think it's better than the ones that sucked, like Airbender or the Turtles films. And I would say it's a very well animated movie, and it got a lot of praise for. And the one I'm reviewing is called Rango. Now, Rango is an animated Western film, and it's directed by Gore Verbinski, who directed the first three Pirates of the Caribbean films, and then the Ring remake, and also a Mouse Hunt as well. And for this film, I would say I thought he did it. I would say Gore Verbinski. I thought he did a good job with the animation. It's a very well done animated film, I would say. I mean, the animation looks pretty spot on, I would say, because they're like I said before, with the Disney's dinosaur, like how it's mixed of animated dinosaurs with real life landscape. This does almost look like the landscape. It looks, if it did, completely fooled me, because I thought the whole scenario of the animation does look animated. If it wasn't landscape, it completely fooled me. I couldn't tell though, but I thought it was a very well animated film for making like landscape as it is. But and of course with the voice cast, of course, Johnny Depp voices Rango. Now, of course, with Johnny Depp recently, his film choices have been not so great at all. I hated Mordecai. The Dark Shadows I did not like. Even though he had a small role in that musical Into the Woods, he still sucked in that film. Or even his dumb role in Kevin Smith's Tusk, which he's gonna appear in three more of Kevin Smith's films with playing the same character. I mean, Johnny Depp, he doesn't do good movies like he used to anymore. I wish he would go on to do better. I wish he would do like films like he did like in Tim Burton's Sleepy Hollow, or even like Nick of Time, which I think is I would say kind of like an underrated thriller, because he's playing like a normal guy. He's not playing any characters that had to crazy things. I will have to review that film sometime. I think that's like an underrated thriller that doesn't get talked about much. Or What's Eating Gilbert Grape, or or of course even his first film in Nightmare on Elm Street. But nowadays he just doesn't seem to do any good roles anymore. But well, of course, when you voiced Rango, maybe you can say he's probably doing like the same thing as he did for his live action roles. But I can see it though. But I can definitely see how he's like probably doing like the same role in all of his recent films though. But I would say it's probably a lot better than all the. I guess some actors are better at doing voice work for animated films than live action films. Adam Sandler is definitely one. He can't can't do good films and live action films anymore nowadays, so he's better off doing voicing Dracula in the Hotel Transylvania movies. With Johnny Depp, same here, you know. But I would say it's probably better roles in recent years. Probably, I would say. If you excuse me, what I'm eating is a tortilla chip. A little snack on during this review. I feel like it. So, but Rango, basically, Gore Verbinski did a wonderful job with the animation. I did like the score by Hans Zimmer, which he's done countless scores. Which he recently did the score for Kung Fu Panda 3 recently. And I did like his score, his Western themed scores for the film. And the other voice cast, I thought they did fine as well. Elsa Isa Fisher, or I think it's called, if I mispronounce her first name, Isa Fisher. She's been in a few films as well, like what was the film Now You See Me, or her role in Scooby Doo, or even she voiced the Tooth Fairy in Rise of the Guardians. Abigail Breslin, which mainly remember her from No Reservations, Zombieland, even starring in that Schwarzenegger film Maggie. Ned Beatty, as who voiced Lotso in Toy Story 3, is in it. Voiced Alfred Molina, who has done a lot of films. Like had an early role in Spielberg's the first Indiana Jones film, Raiders of the Lost Ark, at the beginning, or famously playing Dr. Octopus in Spider-Man 2. Bill Nighy, probably played Davy Jones in the first two in the Pirates of the Caribbean 2 and 3, and he's been in a lot of other films as well. Harry Dean Stanton is a voice role. Ray Winston, Timothy Olyphant, Stephen Root. So they have a pretty decent sized cast as well. Also, I think he also on a minor role as well by Ian Abercrombie as well. Ian Abercrombie, probably people don't recognize him because he has such a minor role in this film. Probably recognize him. You probably remember him in Mouse Hunt. He was during the end of the film, during when they were auctioning. He's the guy who's doing the auction. Emailing this going twice, whatever, the auctioneer, or probably in a much more larger role in Garfield, the sequel to Garfield: A Tale of Two Kitties, when he's the butler of the rich mansion. So yeah, you probably recognize him as well if you recognize what he looks like, though. But everyone knows. But he has a minor role in this as well. He plays like a voice like an owl, a desert owl, wearing this little tux. If you watch this film. So overall, you have a very decent sized cast. And when the film came out, got a lot of praise. It's a 7.2 on IMDb and has an 87% Rotten Tomatoes. And it won a lot of awards, like it won an Academy Award for Best Animated Feature Film, which, really enough, it's like the first Nickelodeon movie to win an Academy Award. So yeah, it won Academy Award for Best Animated Feature Film, but it didn't win the Golden Globe though. So, but Academy Award, and it won a lot of other awards for Best Feature Animated Film or Director, like for Gore Verbinski and stuff like that. But among other awards as well. And of course, looking at it, they have like a kind of little controversy with the smoking, because there are some characters in this film that smoke, which I don't think it's not that big of a deal. So, I mean, there was like a couple animated films that like smoke as well. Like, in Tarzan, Claney smokes a pipe. I don't see what the big deal was. I just don't see what the big deal is. Well, there's a couple of characters that smoke. I don't see what the big deal is. But and then the film also was a hit as well, on a budget of $135 million. Overall total, it made $245, so it was a success. For features, it has like some deleted scenes and including an extended ending after when the theoretical edition ends, there's a bit of extended ending as well, and also there's a feature a feature where it shows like a person you know looking at the real life creatures that were in this movie as well. To learn what's about them. So 10 minutes in, enough to get the start out well. In the film, okay, Johnny Depp, it opens up. He's a pet chameleon. He's like in his his little tank and stuff. He's like doing like putting on a performance, and there's a big bump on the road, and his cage flies to the back of the car, and sorry, my nose is getting a little itchy. That's why it's come on scratch myself so much. So, and also, there's also a little funny appearance by I forget what the character's name is. Which Johnny Depp played in Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. When he's flying around because of the traffic, he flies into the windshield of I think it was like the exact same color of the car and the exact duplicate of the character of the characters that Johnny Depp and Benicio del Toro were in Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. The character with Johnny Depp's character with the glasses and the hat and the cigarette. He's looking speaking like this, and Benicio del Toro in the back seat. Yeah. I thought, okay, that was good. Those are some of the touch-ups on like that. I thought I didn't mind. Seeing okay, yeah, that's the character they played in Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. And then he meets this armadillo that got hit. Like the middle of his section is completely flat because he got hit, but didn't kill him, obviously. And that's Alfred Molina's voice as well, telling him that he needs to. He seeks the spirit of the West. A description of what the spirit of the West looks like. He drives his carriage and he has golden angel guardians, whatever it is. So he's supposed to go to this. Tells him there's a town called Dirt, and he'll see him on the other side. So as he's walking, he gets attacked by this hawk. Gives a little bit of a chase, like he's hiding inside a bottle to protect himself, but doesn't help. The glass breaks and takes another creature that was hiding from him. So he falls into this eventually one thing leads to another. He falls to this big pipe, sewer pipe, and then where he meets with Isla Fisher, whose character's name is Beans. Who she wants to, having trouble with her father's ranch and stuff, doesn't want to sell it. And he goes to the town called Dirt. And they have all this big drought because they all need water. And of course he goes and walks into a bar. And of course he tries to do his best to fit in with the townspeople, he goes and puts on this performance and goes and lies, of course, saying his name is Rango, and I killed these forget the names of these brothers with one bullet. And he talks about that thing that happens after. Then the Ray Winston's character comes in, named Bill, this scene right here. Where there's a scene before he gets chased by the hawk, and that scene right there where he swallows Bill's cigar, drinks some liquor, and burps the flames into the lizard's face. And then he challenges him to a standoff, gun drawn, and of course he gets interrupted by the hawk. The hawk is standing right behind him. He's not even noticing until he does. It's like, okay, let's just get back and force you alive, whatever he said. And goes right into this bathroom, porta potty, which is like a bottle of Pepto-Bismol. The hawk slices it, chases him. He hides in a vending machine, and the hawk taps on it, and then a quarter pops out of it. And I thought it was kind of funny. Like, he looks at, smiles at Rango, and puts a quarter in, then just goes and pushes the buttons where he's hiding in. Okay, I thought that was kind of funny. I got a chuckle out of that. And then he chases him some more. And he hangs onto the leg of the water tower. He gets out his gun. And he shoots the licorice, which he was tied himself to. It bounces off between walls, and then it hits breaks one of the legs of the water tower, and it falls. And he's like that, like telling him, the hawk, no, whatever. And the hawk looks up and gets crushed by the water tower. And it's dead like this, with its claws like this, and now he gets to. Now the hawk's dead. He goes to meets with the mayor, voiced by Ned Beatty, who's an old turtle, and it tells him, about the situation, about the water situations. Says, I was here when the highway split this community, whatever. And it mentions him about control the water, you control everything. And he makes Rango the new sheriff. And then they tell to him that now that the hawk is dead, it won't be long until a Rattlesnake Jake comes back, because Rattlesnake Jake is an outlaw gunslinger. Which the only thing he feared was the hawk, but now that it's dead, he's able to come back. And then everyone, the townspeople, will get together, do a little dance about the water is supposed to come in, but there's not. So, and also in the bank where there's this big, huge jug of water, and then the next day it gets stolen. There's a huge hole in the bank floor, and the guy who owns the bank with Merrimack disappears. And so Rango wants to get to the bottom of it. He forms a team. Beans goes with him. A few others go with him, what was that? It looked like a frog, a bearded lizard, and I think it was like a turkey or vulture. It's wearing a civil war outfit, like an arrow goes straight through the eye and back of the head. It's like, oh, it's like, oh, whoa, And another one is an owl in this fancy tuxedo, which I think it was the guy that I talked about, Ian Abercrombie voices. If you don't know who he is, just look it up. He's been in a few films, like I mentioned. And some other people go with him as well. So they follow. There's this big old pipe. It's a water pipe, and they follow the pipe, and leads to him. Out in the desert, they find the dead body of Merrimack, indicating that. And another person that goes with him is the town's doctor, and this Indian, which is a raven. So they indicate he drowned, but how could he drown? Because there's no water. And of course, Rango says, what we can do now? We ride. So they ride along. They have a chit chat when it's at night by the campfire, and during the day, they found there was this family of moles. The father, the leader of the group, voiced by Dean Stanton. So they have a plan to make a distraction, when Rango he wears Beans' outfit, and they all have a change of clothing to make a distraction while they steal what they say they have the water jug with them. So then the whole family gets together, they're riding on bats, and they're all shooting at each other. They're all shooting at each other, and you have that song was a Ride of the Valkyries. Dun 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 dun. All played from the family playing on banjos. So they're chasing through the canyon, they're shooting at each other, fighting, and by the end of the fight, the jug falls, but they find out it's empty. And it's like, okay, who has taken the water? Why they? Because they said the mole people have found it empty. So they take him in, even though they had nothing to do with it, you know. So but they're being taken to jail to hang. Then Rango goes and talks to the mayor again with Bill and his boys. They're playing golf, like using roly polies as golf balls. Then the mayor shows what he's building. He's building construction, like modern buildings, and says, "What are you building out here? The future, Mr. Rango." And and then like he finds like he finds like a pair of boots that have with muddy water, which they found earlier when they found the dead the dead body. And he becomes suspicious that the mayor has something is involved with somehow, but he can't prove it. But then the mayor calls and Rattlesnake Jake, shoots the sheriff's sign. Like he has his the he's a rattlesnake that has a rattler that resembles like a Gatling gun. And I thought the look of Rattlesnake Jake, I thought it was like kind of a cool looking character. But to be honest, when I first saw the character of Rattlesnake Jake, I thought it was kind of like a cool looking character. Like has a mustache right here, and then he tells voiced by Bill Nighy, and he says, "Hello, brother, thirsty." Like pours him a shot of his venom. Of course, because he says brother because he of course told a lie about me and Rattlesnake Jake, we go way back and stuff. So he goes, but then when it leads to another, he talks about that. Well, proves that Rango is a phony and a fraud. They lied about the whole thing, so he gets humiliated. So they run him out of town and takes Beans hostage. So as he wanders further into the desert, he runs into the spirit of the West, which okay. Like they did the whole thing with Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, the characters from that movie. Okay, he meets the spirit of the West and he calls him, "You're the man with no name," and the character looks exactly like Clint Eastwood from the the Good and the Bad and the Ugly, Fistful of Dollars. The man with no name, that's what he was called. The character. The character looks like the man with no name. The face look like Clint Eastwood, and voiced by Timothy Olyphant. Tells him that Rango tells him that he was just a phony and stuff, and he's no hero. And the spirit of the West gives him some advice, tells him to be a hero. It tells him no man should walk out on his own story. Drives away in this golf cart with the Golden Angels. They said they look like Academy Award awards. So he tells him that, and he drives away. And it talks with Roadkill again, the armadillo that Alfred Molina voices. They see that these they kind of look like cactus, but they're not. Like, I don't know what those plants are called. I think they're called yuccas or whatever. Like, it moves. And they're they're falling dead because they need water as well. They find this big old pipe with the wet footprints, and leads to this giant valve that says emergency shutoff, and which is a pipe that runs into Las Vegas, because he sees the town of Las Vegas, and he sees the water sprinkling the golf course and stuff. And he starts to put two and two together with the flashbacks to what that is all totally the mayor's doing and stuff. He's the one who's controlling the water, like the line that he said, control the water to control everything. So he comes up with a plan. Back in the mayor's office, Rattlesnake Jake is about to squeeze the life out of Beans, and she tells him to go to hell. Says, "Sign the damn paper, woman." She tells him that, and says, "Where do you think I come from? look into my eyes, and stuff like that. And you hear Rango calling Jake, I'm calling you out. So he was gonna. So an old thing was part of be a big distraction, like by having this standoff, and which of course he has his gun. He has one bullet because they gave him one bullet because from the stories, the lies he told. So he has one bullet. So he's like, "All right, Sheriff, make your move." So they're walking, and he plans to make Rattlesnake Jake stand on top of this covered hole where the water is supposed to come out. Then he talks to the mole people as well, and they Roadkill tells all the plans to now amigos to turn on the water, and the Indian Raven was also going to strike to shoot the snake, but he gets shot, wounded, but he doesn't die. And then Rango goes, thirsty brother. He's sitting on top of the thing. He gets the water spews up. He sends him flying, and then what he sees that looks like a hawk, which he gets scared of, but he sees that it's been formed by bats. He says, "Ain't no hawk, ain't nothing but bats." And he starts shooting at them. Runs out of ammo, and then turns around. Rango has a gun in his face, saying, "It only takes one bullet. You ain't got the nerve. Try me." And so the look of his eyes changes and knows that he really means it this time. But then it changes because the mayor still has Beans hostage, is ready to shoot her, so he puts back his gun, and he gets thrown into the bank's vault as the water's filling up. And then Mayor was going to double-cross Rattlesnake Jake by using Rango's gun to shoot him. You know, it's a new West, Jake. There ain't no room for gunslingers anymore. We're businessmen now. You know, you either be a part of it or you can be left behind, as another line I said earlier, because that's how the bank owner Merrimack was dead because of that. So but Rango took the one bullet though from his gun. So the mayor was going to fire was an empty gun. So he had the one bullet, and Beans goes and kisses him, but then she ends up swallowing the bullet. And throughout the film, I think this is what her creature does, like her lizard, the lizard that what she is, like a self-defense thing. Like she freezes up, doesn't move a muscle. So when she swallows a bullet, she freezes up again, and Rango goes and gives her the Heimlich over, and she spits it out, and it slightly taps the glass a bit, but just for enough to crack the whole thing as the water bursts out. So now the mayor is on his back, and he tries to plead for his life for the sheriff, but he goes, "You better take it up with him," to Rattlesnake Jake. So he sees the bullet, and he out of respect for what he did, says, "One bullet. I tip my hat to you. One legend to another." So he's thanking him for saving his life, and then he goes to the mirror and says, "What was that you said? No sooner or later that no one will believe that you even existed." So he wraps around him and goes and drags him away to whoever he's going to do to him. So now the whole town is filled with water, and also another thing throughout the whole film that I forgot to mention, there's this little bands of birds that's playing throughout the whole time, and the lead player keep on saying that sooner or later he's gonna die, Ringo's gonna die, but he hasn't. But he says eventually he will. Maybe he will die from a household accident. And then after this where the film theatrical version is how it ends, but then you get to the extended edition where the whole thing, where the town is now one, the water fills up, it's like one big puddle and everyone's swimming in it. It's like there's a sign change from dirt now to mud. So everyone's having a good time and stuff now. And of course when Rango, like the thing for westerns, ride off into the sunset, he gets knocked off the bird he's riding on. And then you get the nice score by Hans Zimmer, down, the Western theme. So yeah, Rango, yeah, even though Johnny Depp, I could technically say it's one of his best work that he's done recently because those films have sucked now. But I could say maybe it's his best. I could technically say it's his best work out of all the films he's done. Yes, I do like his performance better than Mordecai, better than Tusk, better than Dark Shadows, or The Lone Ranger. That's another one I forgot to mention. Yeah, Lone Ranger. He totally sucks in that film as well. Including with when the present time with that shitty ass looking makeup, old man makeup on him. Um. So I would say, I would just say it's probably his best work out of all those ones. I would say. The rest of the cast I thought was fine. Ella Fisher or Isa Fisher, I don't know how to pronounce her first name. I thought she was fine as well. Bill Nighy as Rattlesnake Jake, I thought he did an absolutely I would say a good job. I would say Alfred Molina, Dean Stanton, Ray Winston, Timothy Olyphant as his cameo voice in as the Spirit of the West. Ned Beatty as the mayor. I thought the cast was perfectly fine. The rest of them. The animation the animation I thought was very well done. Another well animated film. How the characters are animated. I thought even the landscape, if it was real landscape, I thought it was well. But from what it looks like, I think it was not. But either way, the animation I thought was really well done. The score by Hans Zimmer I thought was good as well. Like I said, Hans Zimmer, he's done a lot of really good scores. Definitely one of my favorites that he did was The Lion King. Definitely, the Lion King score was absolutely one of my favorite scores by Hans Zimmer. If I ever did a top list from what film composer, I would definitely say his score from Hans Zimmer's score from The Lion King is definitely in my top 3. Because that was a much more memorable score from Hans Zimmer. Some people say the Dark Knight films. I disagree with that, but we all have. It's all subjective. I would technically say. Another meaning for saying his opinion. Trying to think what else. Yeah. Gore Verbinski helped produce and do the story. So. Roger Ebert, may he rest in peace. He gave the film 4 stars. That top corner right there. Time Magazine says the coolest, funniest movie of the year. I wouldn't say the funniest movie of the year, but there was the things that I did chuckle at. So I did get there are some scenes that I did laugh at. I'll be honest on that. Yeah, like some of the character references, like at the beginning when the 2 guys from Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas that Johnny Depp did and Benicio del Toro did, and also the Spirit of the West looking like Clint Eastwood, the man with no name. I thought those were nice touches because of course, man with no name as the Western stuff, and of course on the highway drive, of course, meeting with the 2 guys from Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Okay, I didn't mind those those references. So yeah, I thought the cast did fine voice wise. The animation was very well done. The score I thought was pretty good. Some of the humor on average I thought was pretty. Not don't love the humor, but I would say if I would give an average, I would give it a fair 75%. I would say so. It's not the best humor, but I did get some laughs out of it. But and the whole thing with the smoking and stuff, it's not nothing. So like, there's like 1 or 2 scenes where there's a character smoking. I don't see what the big deal is. But overall, I think the main point is that Johnny Depp. I thought of all the crap films he's done recently, I think this is one of his best ones yet. Because, like I said, I guess some actors do better voice acting than doing live action films. And once again, I said before, Adam Sandler is another proven point. You know, his live action films have gone straight down the toilet, I would say. He's better at voicing Dracula in the Hotel Transylvania movies. Because his films like Pixels and yeah, once in a while, yeah, like he does probably a good drama. Like what was the film with Don Cheadle? Was it Rain Over Me? I thought that was a decent drama that he did. But most of the films he does with the humor and stuff like Pixels, That's My Boy, oh God, or even Jack and Jill. Still like that's like pretty much his worst one yet. Still, I think it's one of his worst ones. It's same here with Johnny Depp. The character choice that he does with the films like Mordecai and The Lone Ranger or Dark Shadows is I wish he could just go back and do stuff like he did like with Tim Burton's Sleepy Hollow or Nick of Time, you know, which I thought I saw the review though. Oh, another character I forgot to mention, Alice in Wonderland. We played the Mad Hatter. That's another character I forgot to mention that's another film I did not like either. And of course, I have no interest in seeing Alice through the Looking Glass either. I'm not interested in that film either. But of all of his recent films, I think Rango was his better work because his voice role I thought was not that bad at all. Even though I could see he's like probably doing the same thing with live action animation though. But I could see that. But this one I'll let this one slide. But I just wish he can do better movies like those films I mentioned. Or yeah. But anyway, yeah, that's my review for Rango. Overall, I'll give it a thumbs up, Rango. So if anyone have seen, oh yeah, that's another thing with this, try to mention with this toy, that fish that you see at the beginning and a little bit towards the end. Didn't care that's one thing I didn't care for with this little toy fish that he had, or this part of half of a mannequin that he had. I didn't care for that either. But if anyone haven't seen Rango, go and check it out. See what your thoughts on it. I thought it was a pretty good, decent animated Western film that Gore Verbinski did. And also comparing to Westerns, I think this is a lot better than The Lone Ranger, which sadly that he also directed. I would even say this is better than the Lone Ranger. I like some of the action in that movie, but I have to redo them because, like I said, and when I did part 1, part 2 of that video, I was much more kinder on it, but my thought ever since then, my thoughts on the Lone Ranger has changed very much. But I'll keep those videos to show I was being much more kinder on it. But if I ever do a re-review of the Lone Ranger, it'll very doubt be a rant. So I would definitely say this is a much better Western that Johnny Depp did better than the Lone Ranger. So anyway, thanks for watching. Stay tuned on the next movie review. Later.